ready for all the pressure that's coming for him? Is he physically and mentally ready?
Fuck.
And away we go.
Red flag. Red flag. Sector 2. Sector 2. Man, this car will not just turn the fuck off.
But I mean, sure, if that's how you want to play. Okay, the outlaps are starting to conclude. All right, okay. After such an intense battle in the first race, is the second race going to live up to the hype? There's only one way to find out. Hello one and hello all, and welcome to the second round of Apex Racing 21, where we find ourselves at the Hockenheim ring for the German Grand Prix. Now, in the driver standings, it may look like another season where YC is casually leading with no one to contest him, but if you saw the previous race at Canada, that couldn't be any further from the truth, as not only is the competition closer to YC than ever, but Ferrari are no longer top dog, as leading the constructor standings now by only a 2-point margin are Mercedes AMG, with only 2 points ahead of the Scuderia in red. With Heya putting in a particularly good P2 result after it all came down to the thinnest possible margins, and Dungeon Fan made a pretty nice recovery after his fatal mistake near the end of the race on the final lap. And also near the bottom of the standings as well, McLaren had a particularly solid race with their main driver Pocanaldo, and also their reserve driver Fondatensu, who actually made some really good use of the safety car to gun above the Haas and put McLaren tied with Alfa Romeo in the constructors. But now, with so much to play for, who is going to be leading the championship going into the third round? Is YC going to be able to keep his dominant stride going, or does he finally have some competition in the form of one of the Mercedes or Beastava? We'll just have to wait and see.
Steve's Wi-Fi gave up on him, and he is rejoining, so...
Alright, we'll give him a little bit of time, but it's fine now, considering that most of the outlaps are included. So the driver on the top step of qualifying right now is Heya, who had a particularly solid lap around the track, and is the only person with a sub 101 thus far. Beastable was going to try and challenge that, but he switched into having an outlap so he can have another attempt at it. However, another person who's had a particularly solid lap for their team as well is Mikar. How do you say that? Is it Misharlo? Is it I don't know. But yeah, out of the other drivers who had a particularly good lap, Lordmaster for the McLaren team actually had a pretty good lap as well. And McLaren are looking for any points that they can get, considering that they're relatively low in the constructor standings and need more points if they want to gun into the higher spots. Actually, wait, hold on. Never mind. I was just confused by something. Right. So for looking for the other drivers, let me see if there's anyone who's not on an outlap currently. Actually, wait, hold on. I just had a realization. Where's Wicey? Yeah, Wicey isn't here.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna send him a DM.
Is not in the server, and this is going to hurt his placement in the standings.
Hang on, I'm gonna send him a DM to see if he can attend. But on Discord, it looks like he's just flat out not there. What's going on? Is Wicey missing the qualifying, or is there a reason he's not showing up? Either way, we're not being told. There could be a lot more to this than what it seems behind the standings. And if Wicey doesn't show up for the full race, then this could be huge for the Mercedes team. This could be the jump to the front that they really needed. But then again, that all comes down to if Wicey shows up or not. Because again, I don't know. None of us know. We were never informed.
Got you there, as while you were talking, Dungeon improved to P2 then Q1, so that will surely see him through.
Not too bad. The Mercedes currently have the front row locked out, while there's confusion with everyone else. And also, if I can bring a little bit more attention to Lordmaster, his time is still in P4, just a little bit of a step below Beastaba. This is a particularly solid pace from the McLaren team. Do you think they could probably punch a little bit higher than their weight today?
I think it could certainly be possible. They just have to keep this up in Q2, and that will surely help them in the QWDC. And it's not just qualifying; you also have to perform in the race, and that's where you win all the points. So he's gonna have to wait and see who can go into this Q2 session. But so far, we're on board with Beastov at the moment, who just completed this outlap, I presume. So he's going to try, and I feel like in theory he doesn't need to do any more runs, as he is already basically through. But he's probably practicing for his runs in Q2.
Okay, looking for the other positions on the standings, one of the drivers who are currently in danger but about to finish a lap is Spy Rocious for the Racing Point team. They're currently in 9th by a very thin margin. Oh, and they whipped one of the curbs! It was on the last couple of corners where they sent it into one of the sand traps. And now, if Spy Rocious wants to make it into the shootout, he's gonna need to get a recovery fast. That's very unfortunate for the Racing Point team, considering that they haven't been on form for the I lost track of what I was gonna say. But yeah, very unfortunate for Spy Rocious. It was definitely looking like he could be a surprise entrant to the shootout, but if he wants to do that, then he's got to start that good lap all over again. But yeah, I still haven't received any word from Wicey. He's still remaining offline. Well, I'm not. It's not even the. Oh, it's top 10 into Q2. Okay, never mind. That means that Spyrocious is still in the shootout despite that blunder. Out of the drivers that are
Is he ready for all the pressure that's coming for him? Is he physically and mentally ready?
Fuck.
Just finish a lap of his own. But yeah, looking at it's currently in Q2. If we're looking at someone
In front foul, and away we go.
Red flag. Red flag, sector 2, sector 2.
Hell of a name, but the Haas is pretty much at the very bottom of qualifying, and he's hang on, I keep stumbling over my own words, but he's got to pick up the pace and pick up the pace soon if he wants to make it into the shootout. As Haas only have 1 point on the board, so this hasn't been their best season, so they're gonna need any chance they can get to improve their position in qualifying if they want to climb up the ranks. However, both of the first 2 sectors have been yellow, so this isn't boding very well for Wutu. But if he can bring it home with a solid 3rd sector, he might be able to do something. Oh, and I think his steering might have bugged. I don't know what happened there because the playback is naturally laggy, but I think there might have been some sort of bug on Wutipus's end that ended up ruining his lap. But either way, flicking through to the other drivers, another one that's currently on an out lap and needs to get a good time now is Robloxian Trey. The Williams driver is currently in 11th, just barely missing out on the top 10 from the Red Bull of Sinex. So he's going to try and give everything he's got just so he can get into that shootout. He's got a green sector for the 2nd sector. He's got a yellow sector for the 1st one. However, he takes it a little bit wide. I think he might have tapped the track limit there. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait for validation on that. He takes it really wide on the outside. If I didn't think he did a track limit before, he definitely has now. Yeah, he ended up hitting a track limit, but he only has 1 more lap to try and gun himself back into a safe qualifying spot. And right behind him as well is the racing point of N4, looking to also try and get a piece of that pie. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I'm currently on board with Roblox. He messed up his previous lap, which was not intended to be an out lap. This is really his only chance he's got on these worn softs. And as you can see in the top 10, they're all in the 101s. So if you do anything slower than 101.953, you're out provisionally. And
okay,
as Roblox.
Okay, looking at his times, he's got 2 yellow sectors, which is a bit unfortunate considering the lap he messed up had a green sector in the middle of it. This is his last chance to try and get it into the shootout. I think he went a little bit too wide there. We'll have to wait and see. Is Robloxian in the... Yeah, he hit a track limit, which is a shame because... Actually, wait, no, that wouldn't have even been enough. But now, we cut back to the racing point of... Oh, wait, N4 gave up on their lap as well. So who else is there doing a lap? Well, there's only 1 person doing a lap right now, and that's the Aston Martin of Korean can't save shots. I don't know if this is a particularly solid lap for him, but he got a green sector in the middle. He got a yellow sector near the start. Is this going to be enough to gun the Aston Martin into the shootout? Ooh, not quite. It was just about slower than his previous lap. So, unfortunately, the Aston Martin doesn't quite make it into the shootout. And even more perplexingly, I still haven't gotten a response from YC yet. Oh god, there's 2 of them now. There's 2 of them! How am I supposed... What do I do about this? What?
I'm gonna talk about Korea here. I'm gonna talk about Korea here for a second. He looked really good to go into this Q2 session, as you can see from his sector times. 12.4, 31.1. Now that is enough to get into Q2, but his sector 3 was I think about 6/8 off the pace, and that's what ruined his chance to get into Q2. So yeah, really unfortunate for him. He really had the potential to get up there.
Is he ready for all the pressure that's coming for him? Is he physically and mentally ready?
who gunned it up to 9th and 10th, who are going to be very thankful that the shootout opened particularly for them. Especially the Racing Point of Spyrocious, considering that if it was only the top 8, he would have missed out on the shootout after one messed up lap. And that's the last thing that Racing Point want, considering their problematic place in the standings. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Weissy's not home. He didn't even make it for the first bit of qualifying, and at this rate, he's not even gonna make it for the race. This could impact heavily on the driver standings, because if the Swede doesn't show up for the race itself, then by default, I feel like he's lost the championship lead, unless there's an absolute anomaly in the race's results. What do you guys think?
I'm looking here on check. There are a lot of people here that are out of road with other people.
Okay. Right. Another thing that's particularly surprised me. Well, two things that have surprised me is that both a McLaren and a Williams have found their way into the shootout. Considering that they were battling for table scraps before, do you think this driver shift could have any, like, major change on how they could do in the constructor standings? Hold on, Lordmaster is about to finish his first lap, and we're gonna get the first batch of proper laps. Jerry Packer currently has the fastest lap, but Heya beats them to the line. Beastimer beats them to the line. Is anyone else gonna get a faster time? Moto moves in to give up his lap, and Dungeon Fanatics is currently on pole position for Mercedes. It's currently looking like Mercedes are going to keep their dominant streak going if Weissy doesn't show up for the race. But again, this is only... Hold on. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of news here. That being that the Aston Martin of Korean is currently under investigation for what was it? I missed the message, but he's definitely under investigation for something. Won't you say my name? Has the memory gone? Are you feeling I'm going cold? Okay, so cutting back to okay, they're all on outlaps, okay? You know, sometimes it's hard to find like gaps where you can actually give insightful commentary. So yeah, hold on. So don't worry, this is part of the course, honestly. Have you ever watched an F1 race from like 2002 to like 2008? There were always like these relatively large gaps when there was nothing to commentate on. You know? Alright then, so Moto... Okay, let's put our attention to Moto for a second, because he just set a purple sector for the first part of the track. This could be particularly solid for the Alfa Romeo driver if he's able to round this out into a full clean lap. But again, we'll just have to see if Moto can keep his cool and bring this to the end. He's seeming like he's got a good... Okay, nope, never mind. He hit a track limit. Moto's only goal was to keep it all together, but he clipped a little bit too far on the outside. And it seems like that investigation that was mentioned earlier on the Aston Martin of Korean has been dropped. I don't think there's been any result that's come out of it. It's more so just that the FIA has been getting a little suspicious about one of the drivers, which that's part of the course, honestly. But Heya is about to finish a lap of his own. It's double green sectors. Does this improve his position in qualifying? Yes, it does! It now becomes a 1-2 lockout for the Mercedes of Dungeon and the Mercedes of Heya. Beastimer is going to need to step up his game if he wants to get solid points. This could be his one chance to gun Red Bull into leading the championship, but he needs to keep things solid. Because... Actually, what am I even talking about? What do I mean by keep things solid? Oh, hold on! That's actually a really solid time from the Williams of Domizik the Bomb. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, Williams are currently in 5th in the qualifying positions. That's really good for the team, considering that before, I don't think they were even fighting for table scraps. But yeah, Beastava also finishes a lap time. It was particularly good alongside a monster final sector, but it isn't enough to dethrone any of the Mercedes. If Beastava wants to get onto the front row, then he's going to need to seriously step up his game. Jerry Pecco is also currently on a lap of his own as well after having a... Actually, no, that's an outlap. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's currently looking like the Mercedes team have this race on lockdown, and with no Weissy to threaten them. This is currently looking like a Mercedes 1-2 more with every single second. But again, we'll have to wait until the race actually begins to see the fruits of their labor. Did anyone see
Moto here has actually tied Dungeon on this Sector 1, and he's currently on a lap about to finish that Sector 2. He's only 10th off in that second sector, so let's see, will he improve here as we go on board? As he takes the corner nicely, it's a decent exit.
It's also worth mentioning the Moto hasn't set any time yet, so this is going to be his first time on the board. Where is Moto in qualifying? He dethrones one of the Mercedes! Moto guns his way into second in the qualifying, pipping his way onto the front row, just about beating Heya. However, Dungeon Fanatics is still holding strong. He still has pole position by the smallest possible margin. Hold on. The Williams of Domestic the Bomb, after his really good lap time, is now under investigation by the FIA for the same reason as Korean was. If this ends up turning into anything bad, then this could be disastrous for Williams, considering they just got into the top 6 after a really good qualifying session. So a penalty is the last thing that they'd want. And cutting back to Domestic the Bomb, he might actually improve his time again. He does. He cuts it down by about 40/20ths of a second, but it isn't enough to improve his time anymore. If anything, it might just potentially keep him safe, given a little bit more time. But yeah, also on the front row, Heya sets a purple first sector. This could lead into something massive. Heya, considering he's second in the standings, could really use a pole position. That would put him in a particularly dominant spot if he's able to cut his way ahead of Dungeon Master. But if there's anything that's looking realistic here, it's seeming like Mercedes might just get their front row lockout back. As after Heya sets a particularly good second sector as well. It's not purple, but it's still good enough. He's going through the last couple curves. Is this going to be enough to give Mercedes back that front row lockout? He's on the final straight. Oh my god, and in the last couple seconds, Heya takes pole position from Dungeon Fanatics. What an incredible showcase of skill from Heya. But Dungeon Fanatics is not to be outdone that easily. He's on his own lap. Could Dungeon Fanatics take back the pole position from his teammate right after Heya initially got it? It's looking like a particularly good lap from him, but he did end up barely getting a yellow sector in the middle. Dungeon is on the last straight. Is this a better time than his previous time? Does Dungeon have pole back? Oh, it's a better time by the thinnest possible margins, but it's unfortunately not enough for Dungeon Master to put himself on pole position. However, there are still a few other drivers that haven't set their lap times yet, as Rufus has already made calls to what he thinks the front row is. But Moto and Beastava haven't finished their last lap yet. Are they gonna steal the front row? Moto steals the front row from Dungeon Master. It was a Mercedes 1-2. Then Moto took that away. Then Heya won that back. Then Dungeon won that back. And in the last possible second, Moto takes it at the last possible moment. Even after the stewards thought it was all over, to revoke the Mercedes 1-2 that they thought they had. What an incredible qualifying session from Mercedes and Alfa Romeo.
Yes, indeed, Moto needed an insane third sector to try and save that. A 10th down on Dios in that first sector. So if he got a 12.2 in that sector, it's done. 1 minute time. So yeah, but he should still be happy with that front row placement he's got for the race. So we'll see. He has placed 6th place last race. So he is hoping to maybe try and win here. He has shown a pace, and now it's all about performing.
Give me a second. I'm trying to talk to one of the people who are currently on the track right now, because I'm honestly getting kind of sick of this case of it. Like he's appeared on pretty much every single track so far, and I don't want this to turn into a running gag.
What a go! What a go!
Oh, hold on! I just noticed something about the qualifying times. Look at Dungeon's time and look at Moto's time. They're the exact same time, except Moto has a 1 changed to a 0. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. And lastly as well, it's also been a particularly solid qualifying from...
Yeah, if you think that's surprising, I've had a time tied with someone else. Tied. So yeah, that is pretty crazy. But once again, Moto lost the pole position in that first sector, 12.3, which is not even that bad on the mediums, which just goes to show how competitive this field really is. Moto starting on the mediums, and then we have Dungeon on the soft tire, interesting, as well as Michael Lopak in P70s, also on the softs, and a lot of the other drivers are on medium drivers. So see now Pin in the back on the softs. So a lot of medium runners, and they're hoping to capitalize at the latter ends of this race.
Yeah, it's been a particularly solid qualifying session from both Jerry Pecco and Moto, who have found themselves in 4th and 2nd on the grid. They still haven't given up with the choke. You know, I'm not even going to acknowledge it anymore. Everyone is pulled up to the front grid. There's still an absence of Weissy, who is now officially going to be missing a race, even from the very back of the row. I haven't gotten a response to him, and I sent him a ping about 20 minutes ago, and I've gotten nothing. It's looking like the championship leader is going to be skipping out on a crucial race. So this could be any rival's chance to take the lead of the championship. But who's it going to be? Will it be Mercedes? Will it be Alfa Romeo? We'll have to see as it's lights out and away we go. And Jerry Pecco gets a particularly solid launch. However, both the Mercedes drivers are now neck and neck with each other. Who's going to be leading going out of the first sector? We'll just have to wait and see. It's currently looking like Hayar's race, but Jerry Pecco still isn't far away. Beastimer got a particularly solid launch as well. But it's looking like Hayar is already starting to form a gap on the rest of the group. Actually, wait, hang on. I think Hayar might have taken it a little bit too wide. As now. Wait, did he? No, I think that's just the replay cameras that is misleading me.
It was Dungeon. He got a warning on the second corner of the race, which is not going to help him in the long run. And he is now leading on that soft tire ahead of his teammate, and he's hoping to extend until he gets to that medium stint.
Yeah, but do keep in mind that is still the soft compound tire. His teammate is on the medium, so he is gonna have the he's gonna have the benefit of longevity when compared to his teammate. So how long do you think that lead's gonna last? I don't think it's gonna be as long as he'd want.
Yeah, I feel like if he keeps it on track, I think at least at half the race, At least I think around lap 12 or 11 is when he'll have to start pitting, as these softs will just degrade to the medium compound tires. And that's not even when they have their optimal grip, so maybe even earlier will Dungeon pit to the mediums and maybe conserve them there. But so far, Moto is the fastest guy on track at the moment, since he's only 2/10 behind Dungeon on the soft tires. So he's maybe looking on for a potential victory here. It's still looking good. He has actually taken a lead briefly there from Dungeon, so he's looking really good pace. I think Beast also has a good potential out there, considering his pace is also really good here, as I've seen previous times. But Dungeon on the soft tires, he's still on the faster tire and takes it back from Moto.
It's been quite the result from Moto so far after his particularly solid qualifying. That little bit of extra space he got from making it into the front row is currently what's giving him the leg up on the Mercedes. And he's extending his lead more and more, even without any DRS, because DRS hasn't been open yet. So these are critical laps for the Alfa Romeo to try and get his way ahead of the Mercedes team. And it looks like, considering there's already a DRS gap between third and fourth. I mean, already you know, I forgot the terms, but it's looking like there's already a pretty solid gap between third and fourth. So it's seeming like the main race is going to be between the two Mercedes and Moto.
Yeah, exactly. There are two trains now. I think that's the term called. Two trains,
Yeah, DRS trains.
separating two groups. Yeah, DRS trains, that's what they're called. Now, different groups. There are many drivers that can contend for the win. Let's say the top 3 can make a mistake and then they fall to the other group. And then, theoretically, anyone in the top 5 could win.
It's also still been a really good result for the Williams team, who've converted that qualifying pace into on-track pace as well, as they currently have 5th and 6th completely locked up, and they're looking to try and get a launch on Beastama for P4. Pretty much hoping that Beastama makes some sort of a mistake, as there's been a massive mistake from Dungeon Fanatics. I think he might have clipped a track limit, as he gives up his position to his teammate Hayar, and is now only moments away from Beastama as well, which is also reflecting on the Williams drivers, as they're only moments away from getting into position as well. Though it's also not been particularly that good of a result from Jerry Paco, who has lost position of both of the Williams, who are both collectively on the run of their life today. It's seeming like today, Moto is in a league of his own.
Yeah,
Yes,
he is.
indeed. Dungeon, who is on that soft tire, he is supposed to be leading because he's on that faster tire, but he's not. And this is going to hurt him a lot at the end of the race. Moto and Hio are also looking like the favorites of this race. We're looking on to win. Beast looking on for podium. Or will we get a shock podium from Domo Cheek in that Williams? Because he's not too far off the podium places. And Moto's looking for that win, supposed to be else. But Dungeon, he's supposed to be leading because he's on the softs, but he is 3.5 seconds behind. And once again, it's going to hurt him a lot because he's still losing time to the leaders. It's just not helping him.
Oh, a lot of places dropping in the midfield. Robloxian, I think, got ahead of the Williams drivers there. Probably they made a mistake. Nonetheless,
Okay,
Diaz
Jerry
has
Pico.
lost time.
Wait, hold on. Jerry
Pico
Pico's actually gunning through the standings as well. He's cut through both of the Williams drivers quite effortlessly. And as the AlphaTauri, after falling back to 7th, charges back to P5. But to be fair, considering this is Jerry Pico we're dealing with, this is par for the course, honestly. He always has this like thing where he falls back in the standings and then shoots back upwards in just a few moments. I think that was actually a fly in my ear. That briefly distracted me. But yeah, cutting back to the front of the field, it's seeming like Moto has an iron grip on this race, and he'll need to make a critical mistake for any of the other drivers to have a chance to gun it ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, this is definitely a domination from the beginning for Moto here. I do not remember, well, I do not know who has taken pole, but Look at him driving. He's flying and even has DRS. And through turn 2 we go and onto the back straight. Will he get DRS again? We do not know.
Yes! Yeah, he did! Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This DRS detection really needs to be fixed. I've said it a couple of times as a joke, but I might just send this footage to Egg because you cannot explain the DRS opening for the leader 3 seconds ahead of the other drivers when the drivers behind him get nothing. And hold on, I think that might have been a mistake from Heya as well.
Oh!
Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, I think he might have. I think he might have hit 1 or 2 track limits because now Beastava is in the podium positions. The Red Bull has been particularly consistent all week. Oh wait, hold on. I think Moto might have made a mistake as well. Either that or Dungeon Fanatics has been particularly solid with his pace as well, as he makes up about 3 seconds in just 1 lap. As now Red Bull have a chance to gun it into the higher positions if they can keep things consistent. As it's now an extremely close battle between Moto, Dungeon, and Beastava.
He gets DRS again!
How did... Yeah, I don't... What is this?
Does Dungeon have the DRS? No, he does not.
No, Moto earlier had it, I think.
Dungeon has been robbed of DRS. Dungeon has been robbed of DRS so many times in this league. It's honestly sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk about it a little bit. I've had a race, I think a few hours prior to this, and I've also been behind Moto fighting for the lead, and there's only 1 lap of the 11 laps with wheel to wheel where I got DRS. All the other laps I did not get DRS, because if I did get the DRS, would be ahead of him, and it just goes to show fix your DRS detection, because it is basically attempts gain for the person ahead.
I mean, Moto's a pretty controversial figure for a reason. Everywhere he goes, there's always someone saying that he's being unfairly supported or whatever. And finally, he doesn't get DRS in spite of his lead, as it goes to Dungeon Fanatics and Beastava, who are now making a rush towards Moto after actually being properly given DRS like the game should have done ages ago. As now, the gap is starting to shrink between Dungeon and Moto. But again, the big problem here is that Dungeon has gone out on the softs. Who knows how long that's going to be giving him an advantage over Moto for. As we're currently on lap 9 of 27, so surely those softs will have to wear at some point. Hang on, and I'm just noticing something on the track. There's actually a stray Red Bull wing in one of the sand pits. I think Cynex might have made a mistake that... Actually, wait, no, hold on. That's not even Cynex's wing. Whose wing is that? Does anyone else see it?
Huh? Wait, check Beast. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's over the, I think it's like near the beginning of Sector 3, if you can...
I think it's a wing from qualifying.
Probably.
They do tend to stick.
And Moto gets DRS again, despite being over a second ahead of Dungeon. What's going on? Maybe Alfa Romeo have been messing around with the regulations and auto configurations of their car. But at this point, it's a little bit too late to approach you about it, considering we are
did Moto slow down there? No, he didn't. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, he kind of did. I think he kind of.
It's also worth mentioning the Dungeon actually set a purple sector for the second part of the track. Despite being on worn softs, Dungeon is a king at maintaining his tires from what we've seen in the season so far, and he's still just barely about a second behind of Moto. Is he going to get the benefit of DRS? Yes, he is, to close that gap just a little bit more, but is he going to get it for the long straight, or is Moto going to be blessed with... Moto got blessed with unfair DRS again, and Dungeon didn't get it. This is starting to become comical now. What is happening? What is going on?
This is actually reminding me of PARC Germany, where Geometry was actually getting a lot of DRS, so that slot 85 couldn't get the P2 spot. But nonetheless, for this case, this is kind of getting unfair.
Yeah, but to be fair, considering that we're only pretty much halfway through the race, anyone could get a win here. Moto could keep things consistent and get the win. However, Dungeon Fanatics has been oppressive for pretty much the entire race. So could that eventually break Moto and give the Red Bull the lead? And on top of that as well, hold on, did someone make a mistake? Yeah, I think Beastimer might have clipped a track limit or something. Let me check the seconds.
Yes,
Yeah, Beastimer clipped the track limit in sector 3, and now Red Bull are falling down the standings, and now it's back to being a Mercedes 2-3. They're looking to try and cut their way ahead of Moto any way that they can, as now Beastimer has a massive uphill battle to do, as he currently has P4 being challenged by Jerry Pecco, the driver in the sister AlphaTauri team, who are still looking for that big break in the lead. But cutting back to the front of the pack, it's still looking like Moto has a particularly good grip on the race itself. If he can keep this consistent, then this could be an amazing result for Alfa Romeo, and they can potentially gun themselves to the very front of the standings if Mercedes have a whip later on in the race. By that I mean, line back for Dungeon Fanatics. I think considering he was using softs earlier, this only makes sense for the Mercedes team to go for. Mercedes now fall back into, I think that's like 8th. Hold on. Yeah, that's 8th.
Yeah.
Dungeon Fanatics is now in 8th, and he has quite the climb to do. Is he going to be able to get DRS from the cars ahead? Yes, he is. He gets DRS from the Williams of Damar Ostek. Finally, the one place where Dungeon isn't getting robbed of DRS. But now, Moto doesn't have another car to compare to, so this might potentially start slowing down his pace, as, like we've seen in a couple of other races, Moto is a driver who controls his pace depending on where the rest of the field is. So when his closest rival has gone into the pits, it may be a little difficult to tell whether he should full push or whether he should hold back by just a little bit. Heya is also not too far behind Moto, so he can.
Oh, you cursed him again. You cursed him.
What?
That's total penalty.
Got a penalty. He has got a penalty. Oh.
Yeah, Heya clipped the track limit. My bad. I shouldn't say names from now on. But now Beastimer potentially has a chance to gun in front of Heya to get Red Bull back into second in the standings. As even if Beastimer gets second in the standings here and Moto gets first, this will still reflect best for Red Bull, as I don't think that Moto would be leading the championship, but considering Beastimer's particularly solid first race, this would still be great for him. So Beastimer right now is gunning for second. Hold on, wait, hang on. Did Beastimer make a... No, wait, hold on! Is that Jerry Pecco? Where the hell did Jerry Pecco come from? I wasn't even focusing on him, and now he's all of a sudden in third. How does Jerry Pecco keep doing this?
It's probably more of commentary curse again.
Beast is picking onto the soft.
Going into the pits, he might go soft. He goes soft. Beastimer is going full pace for these last couple sectors. I don't think anyone in the front row has gone softs yet. But we'll just have to wait for them to pit to see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and
Jerry Pecco is now third in the standings. If he can keep things consistent, he might be able to make a climb back to Heya. Moto is also still in a particularly solid position. It's been an amazing race for him and the Alfa Romeo team. I'm gonna do some math as to real quick as to where these would put each driver in the standings, because YC not being here is kind of huge. So if Beastimer would have come second, that would put him there. So okay.
Yeah, he'll be first.
I'm gonna have to talk about Moto here for a second, because Dungeon has not made a lot of ground on Moto. If you guys see it on the gaps, he is over pit distance away from Moto, and he was right behind Moto when he pitted, so this is not looking good. So Moto is understandably staying out, because he knows he can afford to pit later and potentially have...
What? Hang on. I just have to say something. Jerry Pecco got DRS. The car behind him is 3 seconds away, and the car in front of him is 3 seconds away! How do you explain this?
Someone tell Ek about this!
Yeah, I'm telling Ek about this. That's going too far. Anyway, so cutting through the rest of the field, everyone else is gonna have to think about when to pit soon, including Moto. He's been wearing out his mediums more and more with every single lap. He's taking a gamble with every single lap he does it, and so is Hayar. And Hayar is now gunning into the pits. It's currently Jerry Pecco in second place. But what compound is Hayar gonna go for? Hayar switches it up to the soft compound tire. He's now gonna go full focus to try and gun ahead of Moto in the positions. But how much time is Hayar really gonna have to make up for that gap that Moto is letting them have by staying out longer and longer on softs? And in a complete surprise to everyone, due to everyone pitting, the McLaren of Lawnmaster has cut his way into 3rd place. This likely isn't gonna last for long because he needs to pit very soon, and Dungeon Fanatics has caught up to him. But still, this is quite the sight, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm gonna look
Oh,
at
we
Moto.
need to look
He's
at Moto,
probably
though.
going to pit. He's gonna
We need to look
probably
at
gonna
Moto.
pit this lap, and he
Moto
is
still
not
hasn't
pitting
won
this
any-
lap.
Stays down!
And I'm gonna. This is really interesting for Moto because he knows he has a 12.4 second gap, which is basically a pit stop distance around here, so he can't afford to extend that medium stint. And then at the end of the race, he'll have
DRS?
super fresh softs. He'll have
What
super
the-
fresh softs, and no one will be able
Okay,
to catch
Jerry
up to him.
Pecco has finally put it into the pits, and so is Lawnmaster. Jerry Pecco is going on softs. Where's he gonna be in the overall standings? Jerry Pecco is seemingly currently in third place after that exiting stint. It's been particularly soft. Actually, no, 4th place. Never mind. Hold on, did something happen?
Wait, what? That's
Did
weird.
someone something?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, Moto seemingly has the mother of all gaps after everyone else has gone into the pits. But how long is Moto going to extend this for? The question is not much longer as now Moto goes into the pits. Is he still going to be leading after switching to that soft compound tire? The closest driver is Dungeon Master, and he's a few corners back. It's seeming like Moto is still going to hold on to his lead. This is exactly what the Alfa Romeo driver has been looking for. Can he get up to speed before Dungeon Fanatics on that medium compound reaches up to him? It's seeming like that answer is an emphatic yes, as Moto now has what seems to be about a 4-second gap on Dungeon Master, maybe even more of a gap, and he got DRS again. Moto got
Oh
DRS.
my god.
Are you serious? He got
Moto
DRS
has-
14 seconds ahead of the field. You can't explain this. You just can't.
Moto has been dominating
yeah.
this race from start to end. He has overcut the entire field, and he's still 5 seconds ahead. This just goes to show how dominant he has been this race. And if he keeps on track, it should be an easy victory for him. I mean, he has super fresh softs now, and he can now chase to improve that fastest lap that he has set on the mediums, which is 101.3 currently. But he could do faster if he wanted to, so let's see. Because this overcut is brutal.
Although it is worth
overcut.
Go on.
Yeah, you go.
Although it is worth mentioning that earlier Moto did end up clipping a track limit and got a red sector. Whether this bodes into him being reckless or not, I'm not entirely sure, because I think what's given Moto the gap is from him playing it safe. He hasn't gone for any crazy lines. He's just gone for what he knows he can get away with. And also looking at the back, the Williams have slowly been starting to fall through the standings as now Lordmaster and N4 have found their own ways to cut ahead of the Williams, as now the highest one is currently in P7. Hold on, I think one of the Red Bulls might have actually made a mistake as I was saying that. Like, I've heard of commentary.
Moto has made a sawdown penalty, which allows Dungeon to close up.
But is he close enough? No, he is not. It's still a good lead for Moto there.
Yeah,
Despite
Moto
of that,
Yeah, Moto clipped to another. Wait, he already had a full penalty? Like he already had a full.
He already had a penalty. He already had a penalty.
Okay, so crucially for Moto, that actually resets all of the penalties he's already gotten. But if that's proving anything, it's proving that the Alfa Romeo of Moto is starting to get a little bit more aggressive with those super softs. Could this mean that he's going a little bit too far? Again, with only 6 laps to go, we'll just have to wait and see. As Dungeon Fanatics is in second place in the overall standings, Mercedes are trying to play the long game when it comes down to overall points. They're not too concerned about Moto. If they can get ahead of Moto, either way, that's gonna prove to be just a little bit more of a bonus for them. As this has proven to be quite a miracle run for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, we haven't seen this, unlike KRC in Season 1. Alfa Romeo might actually dominate in AR21 as well.
But then again, you do have to remember, Weissy has been nowhere. Weissy has been nowhere to be found today. He hasn't even responded to any of my DMs that I sent to him. Okay, Moto actually sets a fastest first sector, which proves that he is going entirely for pace right now. He's not playing it safe. He is not making use of that 5-second gap. He is driving as if Dungeon is only a second behind him. Is this recklessness gonna cause him to hurt himself? We'll just have to see, because I'm honestly not too sure myself.
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, Dungeon, he has spit it all the way back in lap 12, and Moto is on super fudge soft. I see he had lap 18 as his in lap. So he could push, but he knows he doesn't have to, because he is on a much better tire, and the next person on the softs is 10 seconds behind. But he still has to be careful, because Dungeon is maintaining this gap.
Okay, Moto ended up clipping a track limit. That adds 1 to his counter. He's been getting kind of careless with how many times he's crossed over the track. But it's also worth mentioning that Hayar ended up tapping it as well. Moto actually sent another fastest first sector. Could this end up reflecting in his time, or is he gonna end up making a whiff a little bit later? I was also looking further down the pack. Jerry Pecco was actually making it very close to Hayar as well. Could the AlphaTauri find its way into the podium position?
We're yet to see that, since last time around, Red Jelly was robbed of a podium position. Let's see if Jerry Pecco can actually get back into the podium places like he was before pitting. A surprise drive for AlphaTauri there. Definitely because I'm not the team owner. But anyways, he is flying at the moment.
I think Jerry Pecco might have cut a track limit. Oh, and Hayar accidentally gives his car a little bit of airtime. That's gonna make the chase for his teammate particularly difficult. Moto now only has a few laps to go to keep that lead he's got. But we've seen what happens in these league races quite often. When someone has a huge gap like this, they cut a track limit at the worst possible time, and it comes down to the final few laps. But yeah, Hayar gets back into the podium position. Actually, wait, no, hold on. Was he always there? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was. I think he was, maybe. Oh.
But yeah. Did you see something?
No.
You were
No,
talking about?
that was just vision lag. That was vision lag.
So that's a tantrum.
Loading.
Huh.
Yeah, that was vision lag.
Right, okay.
Spectate. Moto starting lap 25, 7 seconds ahead of Dungeon Fanatics.
It's starting to see more and more like Moto has an iron grip on this race, because I don't even think a penalty is going to affect Moto's pace for this race. Alfa Romeo has been on top for pretty much the entirety of this race.
That is very much correct. Moto is just completely dominating. I mean, he's 40 seconds ahead of his teammate, who is in P10 at the moment, hanging on to that 1 point, and he's finding N4F2 for that paid position.
Let me do some calculations on how this is going to reflect in the standings. So,
as he actually gains a position to Sinks, who I think made a mistake in that last corner, and as you can see on the timing screens, He has indeed gotten a slowdown penalty, and it picked up another warning in that first sector for good measure.
Okay, hold on. I
but-
think Dungeon Fanatics.
Yeah.
Dungeon
Dungeon.
Fanatics might have made a mistake, but actually, looking at the driver standings, Moto isn't going to be leading the championship. If Hayar stays in the position he's in, he's going to be tied with the Alfa Romeo driver. So now, this is a critical race for the Mercedes of Hayar. If he can get ahead of his teammate, then he will be ahead of Moto in the standings, not just behind him, but also Jerry Pecco is looking to try and get a piece of that pie with only a few laps to go. Moto is in a world of his own, and considering his gap, wait, no, hold on. There's been an order from Dungeon Fanatics to Hayar to give Hayar the position because if Hayar still remains in third, then he's going to be tied up with Moto. But with Hayar in second place, he will be leading the championship after the end of this race. Mercedes are going to absolutely crush it in the constructor standings as they are playing the long game when it comes to overall points, as Hayar now cuts it into second place. And now,
Moto starts the final lap. Let's go on to him for a moment then.
Actually, now with only one lap to go, I'd like to talk about Moto for a second. Moto is a driver where I briefly mentioned it before. Moto, for his entire career, has always had a cloud of controversy following his back. He's been shunned out of his teammates for some questionable words. He's gotten surprise wins when everyone else has fallen behind him. He's gotten DRS trades when he probably never should. And of course, we can't forget the first round of Season 2 for Apex 22. We can't forget round 1 of the Apex World Championships for this season, where he completely broke the leaderboard standings to briefly put himself ahead. But despite all of that, Moto has stood on top. He's proven everyone wrong as Moto wins the German Grand Prix. But rather crucially, Hayar finishes in second place and is now leading the Oh my God! In the last second, Hayar cuts a track limit and Jerry Pecco guns it into the podium. It's disaster for Hayar as now it's such a sudden shift. Moto actually is leading the Drivers' Championship.
Oh my goodness
Mercedes had a plan, but in the last corner, Hayar cut it too wide, and Jerry Pecco had a jump for the podium. What was that?
This is the definition.
What did I just see?
This is the definition of anything can happen in a race. What just happened to Eos? It was so close and yet so far. What was that, honestly?
Oh my God! Where does that put Jerry Pecco in the standings? Hold on, wait, Jerry Pecco got 50 points. What the hell? What just happened?
What was that?
What just happened?
Wait, can I tell you what happened in Azerbaijan in season 1 in AR21?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's where he got podium.
Yeah. I cursed Speed for Rages that got the lead from Hios. Now, what happened to Hios?
FOD watch for you, Hios. FOD watch. Run FOD watch.
It's pandemonium in the Mercedes garage. They are shell-shocked. They do not know what they just witnessed. They just lost points that they crucially needed to be leading the championship because remember, after losing those points, they're not just tied to Moto, but they're now losing to Moto in the standings by a good. Actually, hold on. How many points do you get for fourth? Let me look in the driver's real quick. They're now losing to Moto at the top of the standings by 3 points in total, and YC. He's currently, I think YC's currently in third in the standings overall. So this could have been a whole lot worse for him. But the Ferrari now has an uphill battle. Oh my God, there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. Please, I'm gonna be completely genuine here. This bit isn't funny anymore. This has been going on over and over again for the past few races. Can you please actually move? I want to do a proper podium talk You can't just follow up an incredible moment like that with 2 quesos and expect me to laugh!
Get off the truck! Get off the truck!
Jeez.
Mayas ka sa karerahan, ha? Ha? Ang ginagawa mo dyan?
I said... But these guys are gonna have to... Who are the people that are playing as these? I'm gonna call out their usernames. Corded Phoenix 54. Okay, Corded Phoenix 54 and the dudes with lava. Can you ban these 2 guys from the server? This is starting to get ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Okay, so looking at the standings, I think the thing that everyone is shell-shocked at is the sudden podium from Jerry Pecco. If it was him who was in 4th instead of Red Jelly, then this would have reflected really well for AlphaTauri in the standings for the individual drivers. But as it stands, Jerry Pecco now guns his way from 0 points to I think that's the top 5. We haven't done the full calculations yet, but I feel like just as many eyes are now on the domination of Moto, who is a full like 12 or 13 seconds ahead, as now the Alfa Romeo driver is now leading the driver standings after again Weissy was absent. So it's been an incredible week for Alfa Romeo. They're on top, but Mercedes are just 1 step behind. Will Alfa Romeo be able to keep up their lead? Will Ferrari be able to find their footing after missing out before? Will Queso get out of my goddamn way? And will Mercedes be able to actually make the cut that they've been looking for such a long time? Find out next week as we in the Apex Racing 2021 Championships head over to the United Kingdom for Silverstone. See you there.
Is he ready for all the pressure that's coming for him? Is he physically and mentally ready?
Wait, can I just secondary curse? Come on!
I know.
It's works out, and away we go.
Red flag, sector 2. Man, this car will not just turn the fuck up.